With the call of Order 66 from Chancellor Palpatine, the entire Jedi Order was turned on and tragically betrayed by the clone troopers that they fought alongside during the entirety of the Clone Wars. Many of these clone troopers sadly did not have a choice in the matter because a biochip was secretly placed in the heads of every single clone trooper on Kamino before the war, which forced them to follow any command given to them by the Supreme Chancellor. So I'm going to break down every single canon clone that was able to resist the deception of Darth Sidious and refuse to execute Order 66 on their Jedi General. Before we get into it, make sure you hit the subscribe button, as about 69% of you currently watching haven't hit the big red button. Number 1. Captain Rex. Captain Rex was the clone captain who served General Anakin Skywalker and the 501st during the Clone Wars. In the final days of the Clone Wars, he was stationed on board a Jedi Cruiser with former Jedi Padawan Ahsoka Tano after the successful capture of former Sith Lord Darth Maul at the Siege of Mandalore. While on board, the chilling message giving the call for Order 66 from Darth Sidious was delivered to Captain Rex, who was a commander at the time. Despite no longer being a member of the Jedi Order, Order 66 included Ahsoka Tano because of her close connection with the Order and her master Anakin Skywalker. Captain Rex twitched in fear after the order was given to him, holding his DC-17 blasters pointed at Ahsoka but unable to pull the trigger. He was able to fight off his programming and the biochip in his brain for just enough time to tell Ahsoka to investigate the incident that occurred with Fives, who was a member of the 501st that uncovered the biochip conspiracy by Darth Sidious but was killed before he could alert the Jedi. Eventually, however, the chip in his brain forced him to succumb to the order and he began to fire on his friend. This warning allowed Ahsoka to escape the blaster fire of Rex and led her to discover the truth about the inhibitor chips. Ahsoka then stunned Commander Rex before she snuck his unconscious body into a medical bay inside of the ship and was able to use the Force to locate the inhibitor chip. Eventually, she was able to remove Rex's chip, marking the moment he finally disobeyed Order 66. The two then worked together to escape their Jedi Cruiser as it plummeted toward an unknown icy moon below, fighting off every single other clone on board, as Order 66 also targeted clones who did not obey the order itself. Eventually, every single person on board the ship was killed in the crash except for Ahsoka and Captain Rex, who gave up the rank of commander after being accused of treason by Jesse. Such a sad ending to the story. Number 2. Clone Medic Kix. Not long after the Battle of Anaxis, where Kix fought alongside the Bad Batch and Anakin Skywalker, he started to become extremely suspicious of the incident at Ringo Vinda, where Clone Trooper Tup executed Jedi General Tip La, seemingly for no reason. He began to conduct an investigation into the incident after he had discovered that Fives may have known the truth behind the killing. Eventually, Kix did learn the truth about the inhibitor chips inside of the heads of every single clone and realized that Tup only killed General Tip La because of the chip. Count Dooku quickly took notice of Kix's investigation, however, immediately sending separatist forces to capture and arrest him for interrogation, where torture was used. After his capture, the separatists then harshly interrogated Kix to find out whether or not he had spread the information to anyone else within the Republic, but Kix gave no information away. He was not going to hand over any information to the separatists because he knew that it would put his clone brothers in severe danger. Because he refused to tell the separatist interrogators what he knew, Kix was immediately placed on board a ship known as the Obrexta III, where he was frozen inside of a cryostasis chamber, ready to be sent directly to Darth Tyrannus himself. Unfortunately, however, the Obrexta III was tragically ambushed by Republic forces, not knowing that Kix was on board, leaving it severely damaged and cutting the power from every droid on board. Kix's own brothers had unknowingly just destroyed the engines of the ship that he was in, leaving him stranded frozen inside of the ship in the dark void of space. Because of this, Kix was frozen on board during the events of Order 66. One B1 battle droid named B1CC14, however, was able to use the small amount of remaining power left to disobey his orders and jump to hyperspace without completing the necessary calculations. Eventually, the ship came out of hyperspace on the hot desert world of Ponamar Terminal, where it rapidly burned up as it descended through the atmosphere, crashing into the sandy surface. Exactly 50 years after the Clone Wars had ended, a group of pirates led by the Crimson Corsair, or Sidon Ithano, came across the burnt out wreckage of the ship and discovered the frozen clone trooper inside. Kix was then finally unfrozen after 50 long years. You can imagine the absolute shock and terror Kix felt after waking up from 50 years of being frozen, knowing that he was probably the last remaining clone in the galaxy. He eventually found a new group of brothers in the pirates and traveled the galaxy with them, giving him a purpose other than war. Number 3. Trooper WILDFIRE. CT-1701 WILDFIRE was a clone trooper who served in Jedi General Plo Koon's 104th Battalion. During the Clone Wars, WILDFIRE served as a support trooper for the forward squads of the 104th and was known for his rapid barrages of cover fire coming from his DC-15S blaster. As the Clone Wars ended, Trooper WILDFIRE left the service of the Clone Army before it was absorbed into the Imperial Army, refusing to pledge allegiance allegiance to the Sith Lord Darth Sidious, meaning he likely wasn't able to execute Order 66. Because WILDFIRE left the Order in the final days of the Clone Wars, he very likely wasn't on Cato Nemoidia on the tragic day that Plo Koon was shot down by Jag. He also has a clear scar on his head in the same shape as the ones that Rex, WOLFFE and GREGOR have, meaning he likely removed his chip before Order 66 was given. In the years following this, WILDFIRE received word that his old clone commander, Commander WOLFFE, was still alive on Sealos and was incredibly excited. He quickly travelled to Sealos to meet with the surviving clones, where he learned that they were working with the Rebel Alliance. After hearing this, he immediately enlisted with the Rebels and was able to transport vital intelligence from the clones on Sealos to Leia and Rebel Command shortly after. Number 4. Commando GREGOR. We unfortunately don't have much information in canon between the time of GREGOR's apparent death on Abafar and his arrival on the clone Walker on Sealos in Star Wars Rebels. We do know that he removed his inhibitor chip eventually, but it's not fully clear whether or not this was before or after the order to destroy the Jedi was given. Because we know that GREGOR was badly injured after his horrific crash on the surface of Abafar, causing him to lose his memory, it's very possible that his inhibitor chip was also damaged in the crash. If this is the case, he likely didn't execute Order 66 at all and removed the chip just because of the betrayal that it represented. Personally, I don't believe GREGOR ever had the chance to execute Order 66 because he wasn't stationed with any Jedi General when the order was given. On top of this, he was not fearful at all when Jedi Knight Kanan Jarrus and his apprentice Ezra Bridger showed up to the clone Walker on Sealos, which is very different from the reaction that Commander WOLFFE had. Number 5. Commander Grey. Commander Grey was the clone trooper who was the second in command to Jedi High Council member Master Depa Billaba. After a harsh battle against the Separatists, Caleb Dume and his clone commander Grey set up a campsite in a nearby field. While sitting in front of the warm yellow fire with embers flying all around them, something chilling happened. Commander Grey received an incoming hologram transmission from Chancellor Palpatine with the command to execute Order 66. As the clones turned on the two Jedi, Caleb Dume managed to rush out of the campsite to safety, but Depa Billaba was unfortunately shot in the back multiple times by Commander Grey, killing her immediately. She gave her life to save her apprentice. In the days following the tragic betrayal, Caleb Dume went on the run to a nearby planet but was eventually caught by Commander Grey and fellow clone Captain Styles and taken back to their ship to be executed. It was at this point that Commander Grey began having huge doubts about executing Order 66 and killing his former friend. Despite having a clear chance to kill Dume as he was restrained, more serious doubts clouded his mind about why the clones obeyed Order 66 so easily. He shared his doubts about Order 66 with Captain Styles, but Styles angrily stated that the Jedi attempted to kill the Supreme Chancellor and are therefore traitors to the Republic. After failing to convince Styles that Order 66 was not a decision of their own mind, Dume force-pushed the two clones, knocking them to the hard ground. Commander Grey then seemingly out of nowhere snapped and decided to completely disobey the order, no longer wanting to kill the Jedi right in front of him. Grey then shockingly pulled his blaster rifle out and destroyed the controls of the ship that they were on, crippling its defenses and allowing it to be brutally attacked by nearby allies of Caleb Dume. After Caleb Dume was brought to safety off the ship, his allies coldly fired upon Commander Grey and Trooper Styles' ship, destroying it, killing both of the clones. Commander Grey's heroic actions ultimately saved the life of Caleb Dume. Grey's inhibitor chip failed to work, causing him to disobey Order 66 and save the life of a Jedi. Most likely because it was damaged when Caleb Dume force pushed him to the ground. Number 6. Cut LAWQUANE. Cut LAWQUANE was a clone trooper who deserted the Grand Army of the Republic after his transport ship crashed at the Battle of Geonosis, killing all of his squad members on board, leaving him as the last remaining survivor. Because he was a deserter of the clone army and was isolated on the distant world of Saleucami, we can safely assume that he did not receive the command to execute Order 66, making him another clone who did not execute the order. His fate after Order 66 is currently unknown, but his adopted children did go on to live up to the Battle of Endor, where they wrote books about their brave stepfather. Number 7. Commander WOLFFE. Now, I've left Commander WOLFFE to last because this is a very interesting case. In canon, we only know that he did eventually remove his inhibitor chip at some point, possibly after the order was given, meaning he did execute Order 66. One of the writers of the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, Henry Gilroy, did state in an interview that WOLFFE unfortunately was forced to execute Order 66, and he is so hostile towards Kanan and Ezra because his mind is heavily scarred from the event. But WOLFFE can still remain on this list for now because the word of the writers is not actually canon and can be changed at any time until it is stated in canon material. But let me know what you think down below. So that is every clone that disobeyed Order 66 in canon. Thanks so much for watching, hope you enjoyed the video. Cheers guys, hope to see you in the next one.